Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU, the mighty mega spammer. Welcome to another best of 7 of our series of best of 7 that I play against gameslayer to decide who is truly the best or the most lucky, the luckiest Magic the Gathering 2013 player. As you can see, I'm ready to go. I already have my go-to opening deck selected, and I'll talk a little about that in a second. In fact, not in a second, but right now, because you already know the format, I'm sure of it. So there's nothing else I need to do but explain the decks that me and Gameslayer are going to play. Gameslayer will play all his decks with the exception of Goblins, Exalted Darkness, and Celestial Light. Celestial Light was the one that I told him not to play, because for obvious reasons, let's face it. Now, as for me, I can play with the Obedient Dead, which I'm going to show to you, even though you probably know who they are by now. So, hey, get back over here. Obedient Dead, so that's them. I can play as Peacekeepers. Unfortunately, I got them. I'm really annoyed about that. I did get Exalted Darkness, but against a Bandit, which is kind of surprising considering the fact that I also got Celestial Light. So I will play as Celestial Light in this match, and this will be rather amusing. I can also play as Bone of Flame, and I can play as Dream Puppets. To top that, I also have access to Specular Strength, no, Sepulchral Strength, or whatever it's called, whatever, the green-black deck, and the Aura 7s, which is my favorite deck of all those decks. I'll open up with the green-black deck because Gameslayer likes to open up with weaker decks. That's usually his style. He saves the stronger for the later. And I want to win with the green-black deck because I just like it so much. I mean, it's funky, and that's why I want to play with it. And I know that I might lose this first match, but I will keep my strongest decks like Aura 7, Celestial Light, Bone of Flame till later. And Exalted Darkness, of course, being my 4th strongest. So that's about it for my intro, and I'll see you in the first match. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we just started our first game. My initial hand doesn't look too good. I have Golgora Germination, or Germination, whatever, which is nice. 2 decent cards, but I'd rather actually have a creature, so let's draw a new hand. Blood Atlas is fairly nice, Oracle of Mudaya is awesome. I got some really nice cards, but I do like lands. Let's hope that I draw more lands, because I obviously really need them. It's going to help in options, because I didn't select my preferences, unfortunately, because I forgot how the priority and Zoom played the cards. Thank you very much. Back. And let's start by going for Evolving Wilds. And I'm not actually going to do anything with them just yet. I'll sacrifice them before the end of the next turn, because I will need 2 lands to actually play my Blood Artist. So I need to figure out which kind of color do I need more. Do I need black or green? Well, my deck does rely a lot on black, so I'll go for that. And oh, that's amazing. So Gameslayer is using one of his most powerful decks, in fact the one that I fear the most against me, with that being Born of Flames. So he's utterly wasting it, in my honest opinion, because there are decks that are just doing a much better job against my deck. Alright, let's cast the Blood Artist. I'm not going to cast the Rats yet, because I want Gameslayer to only have a fewer cards in his hand, so that when he discards them, he has to pick one that is actually fairly powerful, and he doesn't want to discard. So, you know, I want to be as nasty as humanly possible. Also, playing the Blood Artist does allow me to start amassing life, and the Gameslayer will start losing life as well. However, he does have a Flame Slash. Unfortunately, this is something... this is something you have to take into consideration. When you face a Bone of Flame with my particular deck, you're going to lose all of your creatures. But this is actually the trick of my deck. I want to lose my creatures. This makes me happy. I'm become more powerful when I lose my creatures, because, you know, it just buffs my other creatures and my other cards and my other everything. So, by all accounts, I should let Gameslayer lose, destroy my cards. Although, let's be honest, losing Blood Artist does add a little, and holy, hold on a second. What is that thing? Put a Blaze counter on target land without a Blaze counter on it. For as long as this land has a Blaze counter on it, it has, at the beginning of a that's terrifying. I have never seen this card before. I need to kill it somehow, but I don't really have a way of killing it. Aside from the Maelstrom Pulse, there we go, finally managed to pronounce it, which I will have to use. I'm not letting this card live. Not a chance. Go away. I hate you. Just die. Thank you. That was an overkill, because Maelstrom Pulse is amazing at destroying cards, especially when there's multiple cards of the same name, which Gensler does have. I mean, Phoenixes, the Beast Fiends, or Demon Fiends, or whatever they're called, more Phoenixes and even more Phoenixes, they all share obviously their name because there are multiple copies of it in Gensler's deck. So this card would have been perfect counter against those cards, but this guy was so terrifying, I don't feel bad about using my card at all. And there we go, Lightning Bolt. So it actually, oh, that's interesting. Gensler is focusing on dealing damage to me, which means that he's actually not intending to kill me via the use of creatures. Well, maybe he'll help himself with some creatures, but most likely he will just try to kill me with his instants and sorceries, which is a problem. Alright, target, player sacrifices a creature. Very useful, not going to need this right now. Unfortunately, I am lanced out. I really need to kill this guy somehow. I could have used this card to actually sacrifice my own creature, but nope. Just nope, because I need to save it up for whatever big creature or card Gensler has. He lost his Flame Slash, which is half decent. I'll deal 2 more damage to him, and this will bring him down to 15 life, which is the same amount as I have, but keep in mind, he is really good at dealing damage. So I should, if at all possible, have as much life as possible, because he can like take 10 life from me in a single turn at the very least. He's got cards that are more than capable of doing just that. Alright, am I recording? Yes, I am. Sorry, it's a mandatory check that I have to do almost every single video, because sometimes I do forget to record and it's kinda awkward. So, the Screw Bob! Oh yes, this guy is adorable, powerful and adorable. But obviously I'm not going to cast him, because Gensler will just kill him and he's not going to start acting almighty and powerful until I have 5 lands, which I obviously do not, unfortunately. So I'm just going to have to hold on with my turn, attack for 3 damage and do nothing, because there's nothing I can do. I can hope that Gensler casts a very powerful creature that I can then instantly kill, but if it is a Phoenix, then most likely, even after I kill him, Gensler will be able to bring this Phoenix back to his hand or even to the battlefield, because this is how Phoenixes work most of the time. Alright, Searing Spew probably to kill the rat. Actually, no, it's to me. Yeah, Gensler is really focusing on just taking down my life without even using creatures, because, you know, creatures are a liability. I can get rid of them. Killing them also makes me generally more powerful if I have the right land and creatures, and I still don't have any land, but at least I have this guy. Enchanted creatures get +2, +0 and has trample, and I basically cannot lose this aura, so it's fairly awesome. I'm going to convince Gensler to actually kill my emissary, because right now he's becoming quite a fierce power. Now I'm dealing 5 damage per turn to Gensler, and if he doesn't do something, I might be able to kill him before he kills me. Keep in mind, it's just a might. Okay, there's no guarantee that I actually will be able to do so, because it all depends from the kind of cards that Gameslayer has. If he's got more damage dealing cards, instants or sorceries or anything, which he probably does, then I'm in a lot of trouble. But no, it's just a Phoenix. I can deal with a Phoenix fairly easily, fortunately. Gameslayer probably casted him to actually block me. So that's that. Now if he does attack, I'll force Gensler to sacrifice a creature. If he doesn't, then I'll do that anyway. So Gameslayer, you know, actually if he attacked, I'm not sure if I would be able to sacrifice this creature in the time, but whatever. He now used a Diabolic Edict, but in the end he didn't. That's interesting. Oh wait, that's my card, alright. I was really confused for a second. So I've got the Go for the Throat, which is nice, but yet again I do not need that at all, so I'm just going to skip my turn and continue attacking for 5 damage each turn, and it looks like I might actually win the opening match with my green-black deck, having only 3 lands and not using any of my amazing creatures, which is highly amusing. I guess that while I had no lands but amazing cards, Gensler had the lands he needed, but he didn't quite have the cards he needed. In my opinion, oh wait a second. That's Chandra's. Okay. In my opinion, he focused a little bit too much on dealing damage to me and not enough on dealing damage to my cards, because if he had killed all of my cards, then obviously the thing is, then obviously I wouldn't be able to continually deal damage to Gameslayer. But you know, it's a mistake that honestly I would probably do myself. So anyway, what do I want to do? This guy allows me to play additional land, and I also have play with a top card of my library reviewed. By all means, I want this guy, girl, whoever she is, he or he, on this thing. And oh, there we go, a land. That's very nice. Alright, so now I also have enough lands to actually start activating my skewed mob, so let's play him just so gameslayer is surprised at what on earth this thing is. It's amazing, that's what it is. So let's do that. Make my rats a little bit more powerful, and now gameslayer, when he kills my stuff, he'll have a real tough time choosing which card to kill, but in fact he's already dead, unless he's got some kind of card to kill my rats, but it doesn't look like he does, so he's just going to die. I'm really rather surprised, pleasantly surprised in fact, because I expected to lose the opening match. I didn't though, so things are going a-okay. So far it's only one match, so it could go either way. Anyway, thank you for watching and stay tuned for part number 2. Okay, game number 2 is now in progress, and I am playing as Celestial Light because I thought that I might as well play as them. I do not have too many lands, but so even though I have an amazing hand, I'm going to redraw again with only 2 lands, but my hand is still amazing, so I have to hope that I draw more lands. And, you know, it might not happen, but if I do, then this Cat Knight... Why is it a Cat Knight? Is it a cat? Maybe it is. Anyway, this Cat Knight is quite decent. This guy is decent as well, so he will give me a lot of life. And then I'll just have to continue drawing mana, because if I don't, I will be in a pretty bad spot. But I didn't want to risk mulliganing again to get actually only 6 cards, because you know me and my luck, I could have, you know, not gotten the lands anyway. And this card I've got is quite decent on its own, and look at that, that was a very lucky draw. This girl is amazing at boosting my life total. So in this game I don't care about really taking damage, because I'm supposed to heal faster than gameslayer can actually kill me, and I'm just hoping to survive for longer than gameslayer can and maybe kill him when I've got the chance, but most assuredly not die and not lose my units. Anyway, gameslayer is playing, oh, he's actually going to play with his Ancient Wilds deck, so it's a shame really. It's the same thing like last game except reversed, because gameslayer believes Ancient Wilds to be his weakest deck. I cannot really blame him, although I actually think he's wrong over there. So, do I want to attack with either of those two? Not really, because this guy can become very, very powerful if I actually, you know, get enough life. And by that I mean 30 life, so I'm not going to attack just yet. Anyway, Ancient Wilds, in my opinion, amazing deck. Gameslayer is too stupid to realize its true potential, so he tends to think less of it. But that's okay, really. He's now going to attack with his creature with Death Touch, obviously, and I cannot do anything, so I'll just skip blocking. So the thing is that, whatever, you know what I was trying to say, and if you don't, then whatever. And I keep drawing things that are not lands. If I lose with this hand, then I'll be really annoyed, but there isn't really anything I can do at this point in time. At least I keep gaining life as a creature enters the battlefield, because otherwise I would be in a pretty big trouble. Whatever, let's hope I gain more lands. Because if I don't, I'm dead, just saying. I mean, I don't even have enough land for this thing, which is amazing, but you know, it does require land, so... Oh, Awakener Druid, that's just so cute against it, so cute. Obviously he can attack with his forest right away, and there is nothing whatsoever I can do about it, so I'm just going to let this damage go through. As I said, I can heal quite efficiently and effectively, so that I'm not too concerned just yet, but unless I get land, then I'm going to be dead very, very quickly. But I did get the land, so I can start gaining life and gaining some more creatures that are actually useful. Now I can't really attack with my flyer, because Gensai does have a creature with Reach and Death Touch, but it's okay, because at least I got a decent blocker. I mean, I'll be more than happy to trade this blocker for one of those 1 or 2/1 creatures. And as for those two, actually I'll trade him for every creature that I can kill while trading this guy, so that's that. But unfortunately, so far Gensai was really lucky with his hand, a very good opening combo, 2 False Mages that are just going to deal so much damage to me, and the Awakener Druid giving Gensai this Living Forest, which is also mildly annoying, as you might imagine. Obviously I'm going to skip blocking, because in order to kill even the Yeva's False Mage, I'd have to sacrifice all of my creatures, which would not be ideal, as you very well might imagine. Anyway, oh, that's nice. Another Soul Warden. As much as I like them, I would love to have some more mana, because so far I'm being quite severely mana starved, and if I don't do something about this quickly, I might actually just die. Which is rather amusing, considering that I'm playing with Celestial Light, which is never supposed to die, really. But apparently I'm not. Oh, great! Overrun. I'm going to get overrun, and I think this is the end for me. There's nothing I can do to survive this match. This is BS. Seriously, Celeste Ludwig all so hard just because I got a very bad luck drawing mana. I could have mulliganed, but honestly, would you mulligan if you were me and had my cards? I don't think you would. Anyway, there's literally nothing whatsoever I can do to stop the onslaught. So, you know, I just do what I can, I guess, to deal some damage to Gameslayer, and yeah, do something like that. And this will obviously not save me, but I'll kill one of Gameslayer's creatures. Haha, I lose. So this was a much quicker match than the previous one, and much more one-sided as well, because Gameslayer is a bad newbie who's getting a very good luck with his cards. That's okay. Every now and again, you are allowed to be lucky with your cards. Maybe it means that in the next match, I'll be the one who's lucky. So stay tuned for match number 3, and hopefully great things to come. Okay, game number 3 in progress. This time I'm angry. This time I'm playing with the Born of Flames, which is a very powerful deck, as you might imagine. Starting with 4 mana, not quite enough for Fire Servant, but almost. I would be able to cast my Searing Spirit quite quickly. And the Dragon Mage, I actually don't remember this card. I've seen it, obviously. I picked it to be in my deck, but I don't remember it. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, each player discards his or hand and draws 7 cards. Holy! This is a very interesting one. Yeah, I didn't even have time to mulligan if I wanted to. Oh, and oh! This is going to be bad. So, Gameslayer is playing with the Dream Puppets. It could go either way, honestly, but from my experience, I know that actually probably Dream Puppets are weaker than the Bone of Flame in a match when you play Bone of Flame against the Dream Puppets. So I do have the advantage if I get the right cards. If I don't, then it is Gameslayer who has the advantage, and it will be a major advantage at that. And the problem is he already got his Sapphire Medallion and his Jace's Phantasm, which is a very powerful opening combination that I very much so fear, because this guy, once he is buffed, no spells will be able to kill him because he will be just so ridiculously tough. That said, you know, it's just the opening match. Maybe Gameslayer has a very bad hand, and I could actually kill this guy straight away, which I think I'm going to do. I mean, Gameslayer barely has any cards anyway, so I might as well kill it right now and just make sure that it will never be a 5-5. I'm really scared of those guys. Obviously, what I did right now was a big mistake, which you should not repeat, because you're not supposed to cast an instant, which it was, until it is against your enemy's turn. So right now is when I should have casted an instant. Granted, I would still kill the Phantasm instead of this guy, but I should have waited. You never know what the opponent might cast. So this was a big mistake on my part that, you know, you should watch out for. Obviously, this time nothing really changed, but who knows what could have happened. Anyway, Gameslayer, he does have his Celestial Broker, so I'm going to draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Actually, no, he's the guy who's drawing cards and discarding cards. So I guess Gameslayer wasn't too happy with his starting hand, or he just wants to have, you know, more flexibility when it comes to this stuff. So he decided to do. He actually resigned from a Sapphire Medallion. That's kind of strange because a lot of his spells do cost quite a bit of mana. So I really don't want to know what kind of spells he's got. He's got a suspiciously big amount of mana left, however, which means that he's probably holding a counter. Hold on a second. Does he even have a counter of his deck? I'm not too sure. Sorry for the cough. But I'm not going to be a dummy, I'm not going to cast anything just yet, because, you know, those are instants, I should wait with them. And besides, Gameslayer having so much mana untapped makes me really worried. So he's drawing even more cards right now. Man, he is determined to have his dream hand right now. I guess he's searching for land, maybe? He actually isn't, because he did have land. And what's that? That's... hold on a second. Focus for Rotation. Oh, I remember that. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player draws 7 cards! Whoop! I should be careful with casting a spell. Can I actually destroy this in any way, shape or form? I think I might have 1 card that gets rid of enchantments, but I'm not too sure about that. And I'm not even sure if I have it in my deck right now. And, you know, even if I do, I would have to equip it as well. So this dragon actually, in this match, could be a suboptimal choice, because a dragon mage would probably kill me more than help me. And the game was sinking as well. Please, Gameslayer, do not drop, because then you whine that you are going to win this match and whatnot, and that this should be a win. Whereas I'm still not sure if it is actually going to be a win for Gameslayer. Honestly, this could go either way. Also, I think the game is still trying to sync because gameslayer is taking forever to actually finish his stand, so it may be that he or I disconnected. It's hard to tell, really. So I guess we'll just have to wait for gameslayer to make a move. He cannot do anything though, so I'm almost certain by now that either the game has desynced in a major way, or we lost connection. At least it's at the start of the game. Gameslayer doesn't know my hand. I don't know. Actually, he's got only one card left in his hand. So even though he plays a very powerful one on the battlefield, I could have won this. I mean, I've got this Fire Servant, which is amazing. I would be able to just annihilate Gameslayer within like 2 turns at most. I also have Chandra's Fury. Man, I would have owned Gameslayer so badly. So I think he just disconnected. There's no way for me to check how, because we both sign out of stream when we play so that nobody bothers us when we record. So it's difficult to tell, really. I'm going to pause the recording now and see what happens, okay? So be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is part 3 of our matchup. We had to redo this because there was a serious case of desync. I'll talk a bit more about this in the future. But first of all, this hand, as much as I love it, I would be mana out, but I've got 2 very nice instants that only cost 2 mana and a Torchwind who also costs 2 mana, and he's a decent card on his own. I think I'm going to keep what I've got and start by casting my first mana. So in the last game, both me and the Gameslayer believed that we were going to win. Gameslayer had a counter, as I suspected he would, and he says that because of this he would have been able to win this game. I said that even if he countered my unit, and I know Gameslayer he would have countered the wrong thing, it is so easy to trick him. But anyway, even putting that aside, I still do firmly believe that I would have won, because I would still be able to do a nice amount of damage fairly quickly, and being able to get additional certain cards from my library every time I cast a spell would have actually allowed me to choose the absolute optimal combination to kill Gameslayer before I ran out of cards, whilst he already had a good starting hand, so you know, by all accounts, it's fairly likely that he wouldn't have the luck to get amazing cards afterwards. I mean, he did get a good start. I did as well. You never know what could have happened. In my opinion, it was too early to judge who would have won and who wouldn't. I just believe I had the advantage, and Gameslayer believes that he had the advantage, but we both know that Gameslayer is relatively stupid. Alright, so Gameslayer is just casting Visions of Beyond right now. Weird timing, but I guess he might as well. He lets my 2 damage go through. Obviously it's not a really big deal. I obviously casted my Searing Spear because I did want to take out the Phantasm before he became too powerful. Obviously those Phantasms can become a real big problem after you let them evolve per se. And yet again, I got a Dragon Mage. I was fairly tempted to get him out of my deck before playing this game, but I felt like this would be cheating and whatnot because, you know, I had him in my deck when I started the previous game, so I didn't take him out in this game, even though it would have probably been a wise choice. But whatever, I'm not metagaming like Gameslayer. Of course, well, the thing is, he got a card out of the desync we had before, and it was a desync. I mean, we both checked independently that we didn't lose our internet connection during this time. And hold on a second. I think I'm going to destroy this artifact because I would rather not die because I'm losing too many cards too quickly. Alright, so what did I get? Didn't get a mana unfortunately, but I got a Dragon Hatchling, and I can buff him up to a decent extent to actually dish out a decent portion of damage as well. So I'm kind of satisfied with the trade I made right there. Sacrificing my Demon Fiend or Torch Fiend or whatever for the, how's it called? Font of Mythos. Fairly good in my opinion. Anyway, Gameslayer is casting yet another thingy of Mythos, Font of Mythos, so yet again I'm even more happy with my trade right now because otherwise I would be losing so many cards every turn. This would be incredible. Also Gameslayer, I'm not sure if he can cast anything in this turn. He could have casted anything in this turn or not, difficult to say really. Anyway, I got actually 3 cards, how so? Oh, 2 additional cards, not like 2 cards in total. Sure, okay, I got this wrong. And Wildfire. This is a really exciting card because it basically means that after casting this, whoever gets more lucky wins the game. Thing is that then the player with a big library also has the advantage because, you know, a library is the only thing not exiled, so you know how it goes. Anyway, let's cast my Fire Elemental. Even Gameslayer has a counter, he cannot counter him because he only has 1 mana. No counter I know of costs only 1 mana, unless it's a very specific counter, like for example, counter black non-creature spell, for example, or something like that. That would be actually kind of weak. And Yeah, that was actually fairly stupid. I just attacked with my hatchling who had no damage. Oops. You know, I'm used to attacking with creatures, so that's what I did, and whatever, deal with it. Anyway, next turn I'll actually be able to cast some decent spell sorcerers of an instance. I mean, this guy right here, spell right here could deal some decent amount of damage to Gameslayer. I mean, decent, it would be 8 damage. That 8 is actually fairly decent, and that would be 6 damage. Keep in mind that's because of my Fire 7, he does double my damage. While Gameslayer is just trying to draw a lot of cards and also make me draw a lot of cards. Not too sure this is what he's supposed to be doing, because right now I'm the guy with more powerful deck. I mean, not hand, but a more powerful field. I've got more and better stuff on the battlefield, so I'm the guy who's gaining, who's, you know, who is at an advantage, and giving me more cards isn't going to change that, really. Anyway, I need to cast as many cards as I can in this turn, so let's look for some low-cost stuff. This thing I can take out the player with, this thing I cannot, so I cannot cast that. And the phoenixes I can usually return from a graveyard to my hand. I mean, for example, this guy, no problem, I can lose him and I'll be still fine. So let's first of all cast this thing. And cast it as Gameslayer, because I would have to, you know, dump a card or 2 or 3 cards at the end of this turn. Anyway, what else do I want to cast? I think... well, I need to cast one of those phoenixes, I guess, so I might as well cast this one, because hey, why not? And I'll have to sacrifice 2 cards. I guess those will be land cards, because I have no need of those anyway. Anyway, so, you know, it doesn't really matter. So, I'm going to attack with all the stuff I've got right now, which is going to be a substantial portion of damage, and I think this will be that. Gameslayer will die, and he is going to whine like a crybaby, because we both know that he's going to say that he would have won if not for the this thing, and will not, that he was really unlucky and I was really lucky. You know how whiny he is when he loses. Each time he loses, he's like, ooh, and that's exactly how he sounds like. Anyway, I guess I can discard... actually, might as well discard the Phoenix, since I can get him back, so that's that. And obviously I have no problems discarding Dragon Mage, because, you know, it's a Dragon Mage. He doesn't exactly help me at all, because he would just make me die even more. So I really tempted to use the Wildfire, but this would most likely mean that I'm going to die, so I'd rather not actually do this for very obvious reasons. Anyway, Thought Scour costs me 2 additional mana. Not a really big issue, to be honest. As for the Phoenix, oh, he's actually got Bloodthirst. Is this the thing that gives him extra stuff if I deal damage in this turn? Yes, if I deal damage, then indeed the Bloodthirst will proc, and guess I mentioned that my Fire 7 is not on the battlefield, but unless he summons a creature that has flying, he's going to be dead next turn. I mean, he's got to have 2 blockers, 1 for each of his creatures. Actually, he might ignore the Phoenix, so he just needs 1 blocker for this guy, because this guy I can buff to infinity with my lands, and then he'll be able to kill Gameslayer. And judging by the fact how long it takes Gameslayer to think, oh, he actually does have something to do. So he's going to clone either a Phoenix or my Hatchling. Obviously he needs Phoenix, because he couldn't buff his Hatchling even if he wanted to. Alright, Grindstone, very powerful thing, especially against a monocolored deck, and I definitely am using a monocolored deck. So I should be wary of that, but fortunately I should be also able to win relatively quickly-ish. Alright, so what do? I could just cast a Flame Wave and win right about now, so how about I do that? Right, I'm not reading this wrong. Yeah, 4 damage to target player and each creature he controls. So that's that, that's GG. And there we go, Gameslayer. You thought you could win? No, you're not going to win against me. Anyway, that's that, and I'll see you shortly in game number 4. Alright, game number 4, and I'm trying to stomp Gameslayer utterly. I'm using Aura 7s, but my starting hand is not the best. Sovereigns of the Lost Alara, fairly powerful card, but it does cost a lot of mana. Same applies to my Fallout thingy and the Winds of Wrath. And Daybreak card is amazing, but I need some creatures, so I'm gonna draw a new hand. And that's better. I've got my Cosper Dancer, 2 Winds of Wrath, and a Drake Umbra. All of those, except for Cosper Dancer, cost quite a bit of mana, but I'll take what I can get. Now, Gameslayer doesn't really know what I can play, because he knows that I still have Peacekeepers, Exalted Darkness, and Aura 7s left. So by casting a Plains card, he will not gain any instant on what I am going to play anyway. He, however, is going to play as Peacekeepers because both Exalted Darkness and Celestial Light was banned by me. So right now I think it's about time I review my hand. And now who's going to win, Peacekeepers or Sevens? Honestly, it depends what kind of cards Gameslayer's deck will rely on. I mean, now that the Peacekeepers have those additional cards in their deck, they can actually go for multiple ways. They can use multiple ways to actually achieve victory. So depending from which one Gameslay goes for, I can win and utterly stump him or not. So Gameslay played passive, that's an aura, so that's usually what I'm supposed to do, but whatever. My core spirit dust is no more powerful, but it doesn't matter since this aura prevents her from doing anything. And hey, I've got passive of my own. Maybe I should cast it. No, I won't. Obviously, I am not going to do so. So the thing is, if Gameslayer casts a lot of soldiers, then he's probably going to win, since my deck relies a lot on having just like one or two incredibly buffed creatures that are just stomping all against their face. Anyway, he already has a first strike creature, fairly powerful one at that. And I can use a Daybreak Horror, hooray for me. I need more land and I need more creatures, but right now I think I'm just going to use this enchantment to pacify the knight, and this will allow me to draw a card, which was fairly nice because it did allow me to get a mana as well. That's why I casted it in the first place, because usually I wouldn't actually cast it, I would hold on to this card and cast it on possibly a more powerful creature that Gameslayer might be able to deploy, but this actually allowed me to draw my mana, and now in the next turn I might be able to draw something useful as well. Maybe another mana, maybe a creature, who knows. Anyway, annoyingly enough, Gameslayer got his Squadron Hawk, a fairly annoying card because it just allows Gameslayer to start spamming those Squadron Hawks like crazy. So there we go, he's got all four of them in his hand, 2 of them on the battlefield already, and I think I'm actually going to lose this battle because the amount of flying creatures Gameslayer is about to get will be absurd. Drake Umbra will allow me to start flying though, so that's something, but I need a creature without pacifism to actually fly with. And I keep gaining enchantments, which is very nice, but I need some creatures, unfortunately. Now, Winds of Wrath could save me, but they require 5 land, I only have 4. So as soon as I hit 5 land, I'll be able to clear the board, except for all creatures that have enhancements on them. And those bats, they don't have any enhancements, so, or enchantments or whatever. So this would be perfect. I just need 1 more mana or 1 creature that is actually going to be decent, relatively cheap, and allow me to cast some stuff. Alright, now I definitely want some mana because I need to get this guy off the field. Crusade of Aldrich, very powerful. I mean, after Gameslayer gets a lot of soldiers, it will just be a GG from him because this card will be like 20 out of 20 or something. Not as ridiculous as some of the cards in the Celestial Light deck, but still pretty close, and I think you know what I mean when I say I don't want to face them. But no mana for me, I'm not lucky enough. I did get my legendary though, which does allow me to retrieve my enhancements, enchantments, from my graveyard to my hand, which is decent. I can also buff this girl as much as I possibly want to, as soon as I gain access to some more enhancements. That said, if in the next turn I actually gain the ability to use the Winds of Wrath, I might use this and just sacrifice my Ship's Navigator, Hannah. Although she's so powerful, I might not do this. Ooh, creatures are going to get 1/1. Gameslayer might win this before I'm capable of doing anything. I mean, right now, I think that if I get the chance, I'll have to use the Winds of Wrath, even at the cost of losing my legendary, just because right now it's getting a tiny bit ridiculous. I mean, the amount of power damage Gameslayer can deal to me is just too much for me to handle, and the next turn he would be able to kill me if I do not destroy all of his cards. So as much as it doesn't hurt me to do so, I need to get rid of my legendary, unfortunately. Let's actually think about this. If I cast a Drake Umbra, for example, that's a 3/3 and basically a total armor, so I don't have to worry about her dying. So that's a 3/3, so she becomes a 4/5, so she gets to block and not kill Crusade of Aldrich, and those 3 guys will actually be able to do enough damage to kill me. Yeah, I have no choice, I have to cast Winds of Wrath. Annoyingly enough, I don't really have any way of getting Ship's Navigator back to my hand either, because while there are plenty of Sun-Titans in this deck, in Aura 7s, I did remove all the Sun Titans from my deck because I already have a lot of cards that require high amount of mana to actually cast them. Okay. and I couldn't afford anymore. And whilst the subtitles are amazing at what they do, there are some cards that are even more important for me because they synergize better. Besides, half of those expensive cards are auras, and I obviously focus on auras, so I need them. Another Crusade of Eldritch, that's annoying. I can clear the board again, but I would much rather do something to get rid of the Crusade of Eldritch if at all possible. There isn't anything, however. I didn't have a creature. I could cast my Followed Footsteps, and I will survive to the next turn unless Gameslayer casts a creature card, and then I'll die the next turn. So if he's got a creature card, and he probably will, then I die in the next turn no matter what I do. So I think I need to use the Winds of Wrath again, because if I don't do so and I just start copying some of my creatures, then this will go poorly, let's just put it this way. So I have to waste this amazing sorcery on just one single creature. Annoying, but I have to do this if I want to survive. Gameslayer is probably confused, but that's because he's a big dummy. Either that, or he knows that this was the only thing I could have done to actually survive, because I guarantee you that Gameslayer would have gotten another soldier in the next turn, at least one more, and probably he would have gotten even more than that. And this would have been just too much damage on this Crusade of Eldritch for me to handle. I need a creature in the next turn badly. Then I can start enhancing it and actually survive the attacks and intimidate. Okay, I need something that is also white and flying, and actually I need two things because otherwise I will die in the next turn. Intimidate is a big problem, although I have so much white creatures that I don't care, but I didn't get any white creatures, so it's GG. Gameslayer, you lucky bastard. There is nothing I could have done in this game to actually survive, nothing whatsoever. So I might as well cast this thing on the Crusader, because hey, why not? Draw a card. Now I get a creature. Thank you, game. The effing thank you. Whatever. I'm not even salty, although I was really unlucky with my draws in this game. I mean, I'm trying to go over what I did, and I don't think there was anything I could have done better. Maybe if I hadn't casted my legendary. This could have been helpful, but would it though? Because I had to cast those two card removal spells, I mean board clearing spells anyway, so no, I don't think there was anything I could have done. I'll rewatch this video, maybe I'll learn something, but I don't think there was anything I could have done. Anyway, let's go into the next game. Okay, game number 5, I'm playing with Obedient Dead because things are getting a little bit dire. We are equally scored 2-2 so far, me and Gameslayer, and it's not the best. Alright, I'm starting with 2 lands, not a bad hand, I have to tell you that, but knowing my luck I wouldn't draw any more lands afterwards, which is a problem. That said, I'm really reluctant to throw away this hand. It's quite decent-ish. Quite decent-ish. Let's pray I get another hand. And oh, Gameslayer is actually playing with Crosswinds. It's not too bad then, because with Obedient Dead, I will be doing a very decent job at making sure that Gameslayer continuously loses his creature cards, and that's the only thing he can kill me with in his particular deck. He, on the other hand, has what it takes to continuously make me recast my creature cards over and over and over again, while countering the more powerful spells I can get. Also, what? The Hatchling, what is this guy? Oh, he's a counter spell unless I pay something. That's a very annoying card. I forgot that it actually is in this game. I mean, I now recognize it, but it's too late. Anyway, I think I'm just going to kill it outright, because seriously, why wouldn't I? I mean, yeah, why wouldn't I? Also, instead I could actually just give this thing to some other card, but honestly, this one, I'm not too sure. Let's just cast this right now and make sure that Gameslayer doesn't have a free counter. Obviously, it's fairly easy to get rid of this counter, since I would only have to pay 1 mana to make sure that Gameslayer's counter doesn't go through. But since Crosswinds have so many counters and so many retreats in the deck, I better not risk it and actually make sure that Gameslayer has no ways of doing anything. Alright, he's got 3 cards left. He probably didn't have anything to play in this turn anyway, but I know him, he's probably saving up on a counter spell, so let's not cast anything anyway. He obviously could simply not have a counter spell, but I better be careful. Liana Spectre is a pretty decent card. It doesn't deal a lot of damage or doesn't have a lot of life either, but at least it makes Gameslayer discard a card. And looks like he's actually mana starved, so you know what? I'm going to cast it, I'm going to bait out the counter spell, because the next turn Vampire Nighthawk is going to be even better. So let's do that, wait for Gameslayer to counter, He does not have the counter because otherwise he would have used it, so that's good to know. Gameslayer, await your turn, and he... oh, that's a hydration he used, and he now uses repulse. That's actually decent. I mean, it did allow him to draw a card, so it's a fairly good play by him. He's got more cards to play and possibly a land that he was missing, clearly. But on the other hand, I'll be able to cast this Liliana Spectre again and force him to discard yet another one of his cards. So really we are on the net gain loss of 0 because I made him discard a card, but he also, you know, gained a card because of his repulse. Anyway, next turn I'm most assuredly going to play a Vampire Nighthawk, although now that I said this, I gain Liliana's Shade, and having this is pretty nice because it would allow me to get another swamp. I want to have more swamps, also I can buff her whenever I need to, so this would allow me to make a rapid comeback if I'm in a need of a comeback. So let's do that. I can buff her, I'm obviously not going to do so, because I cannot even attack with her anyway, and she's not the blocker because, you know, Gensei is just going to fly above this shade without any problems. Time Warp, so he's going for major damage in this turn. He's going to deal 4 damage to me in this turn, and the next one he's probably going to deal at least 4 damage more. And also draw another card. He might get something amazing, it's difficult to say, but it's obvious that he realized that he cannot just, you know, he cannot stall any longer. I mean, the longer he waits, the longer he's unable to get his victory, the more powerful I get, because I'm the black deck. I love stalling, I love, you know, taking my sweet time to get my victory, because the longer I wait, the more powerful I am. Alright, against that, obviously, he's got a counter now. I do not believe not a single breeder that he doesn't have a counter, otherwise he would have casted some sort of something in the stand, because he clearly has the cards that he could play. I mean, 5 mana, that's a lot, and in his deck there aren't actually too many cards that require less than that. I mean, more than that. Alright, so what do I want to cast? This guy? Actually, I might cast this guy, because if I cast him against like counters him, then I'll be able to get him back fairly quickly anyway. That said, I want to... Gensei will know this, so he will not cast a counter spell probably. So I want to bait out the counter spell so I can play my more powerful cards. And Gensei will probably counter spell Liliana Spectre. He knows that it's a fairly good card. So let's bait out the counter spell. Is it here? It's actually not. Gensei is just... oh, he's got the spares instead. Well, that's good to know. Unfortunately, this dispense goes through before my Liliana Spectre actually does anything. But hold on a second, her ability still worked, which is very nice. Gensei had to sacrifice some sort of something. Ooh, right of replication. I was fairly lucky with this one because it's a very powerful card. So let's buff my Liliana's Shade to maximum because I have nothing else to do with my mana anyway. And let's attack with her so I start dealing some amount of damage to Gensei. Now I do need to get a flyer ASAP because those drakes are actually dealing quite a significant portion of damage to me, and if I let them do so continuously, I'll actually lose the game. So Gensei still has enough mana for counter. It could be a coincidence, it could be not, though at this point in time I'm starting to think that even Gameslayer isn't retarded enough to not counter Liliana Spectre. Obviously he might want to bounce her as much as possible so I actually lose patience and cast something better, but then again, you'd never know. Anyway, there's a swamp. Do I want to save the swamp? I'm not too sure. Anyway, let's pray that he wastes his counterspell, because he probably has, and if he doesn't counterspell this, then he definitely... Yep, there we go, finally a counterspell, a cancel, whatever, you know what it means. It was obvious that he's got this thing, but that's fine. So there we go, but now I can cast my more powerful stuff. For example, my Flying Death Touch Lifelink Vampire Nighthawk, who can easily kill a Drake and also give me life whenever he does so. So there was a very classic play by me. Oh, but Gensei does have the spares, unfortunately. That's fairly annoying, I'm not going to lie. But at least, well, that's 1 more damage for me, but Gensei is going to deal 4 damage himself, so then I'll be down to 4 life, and I'll desperately need to do something to disallow him to actually attack again in the turn after this one, the next turn he gets. So what did he get? Flow of the ideas, so this gives him a ton of cards. I'm not too worried just yet, because even if he got Time Warp, which is fairly likely with his deck, he isn't able to cast it in this turn. He'll cast it in the next turn if possible, so I need to get rid of those drakes. But fortunately, Gensei has no mana to counter my spell, so I can just, and I will have to use my incremental blight, because otherwise I'll most assuredly die in the next turn. Yeah, that's I think what I need to do. So, put a -1, yeah, I couldn't do that. Or Corrupt, that requires a lot of swamps. But this would give me back 7 life. No, you know what? I think I'm going to cast the Blight. But then again, I'll be down to 4 life, and if Gameslayer does have a time warp, then I'll be in a lot of trouble in the next turn. It's difficult to say, really. Whereas if I cast Corrupt, I gain 7 life and I get rid of one of those drakes, so Gameslayer has less damage potential. I think I'm going to go for Corrupt. Honestly, right now it's probably the best idea. So let's cast it on a creature, this one, and I'll gain the amount of life equal to the amount of lands I've got. I'm back to 11 life, which is a decent amount. I'm going to attack with my Shade. Obviously I'm going to buff her as well, so that I deal 2 damage instead of 1. I'm still in this game somehow, and I was able to bait a lot of Gameslayer's instants. That said, because he was able to draw so many cards, he probably still has a lot of powerful and annoying instants and sorceries in his hand. Probably a Time Warp is there somewhere, most likely a Cancel. It's fairly unlucky he's got another Despairs though, although his deck is absolutely full of this stuff. So whatever he's going to play is anybody's guess. So he's got a Sleight of Hand, alright, a fair decision I would say. So he's going to be able to get another decent card to his hand. He's got 6 mana left, he can do whatever he wants with that. I don't think there are any creatures that require more than that in his deck, well, maybe. He casts a Dehydration, alright, that's fairly annoying because this doesn't allow me to use my Liana's Shade, but at the same time Liana's Shade is hardly the card that I was counting on when trying to kill Gameslayer. I mean, obviously it could deal a lot of damage with all the swamps, that's why Gameslayer is so terrified of it, that's why he used Dehydration on it, but it's not the biggest concern of mine right now. Alright, he's saving 2 mana. He might have a Despairs, although right now it's getting slightly unlikely that he does. So let's have a quick look at the cheapest stuff I've got. That costs 3 swamps, and that also costs 3 swamps. So he doesn't have a Cancel, and even if he does, he cannot cast it. So let's try my Vampire Nighthawk, see if Gameslayer actually uses Despairs on it. He actually has a counter? Really? Well, he might have a counter spell, but I can repel a counter spell if I spend some mana. So that's why he let this go through. Alright, that's good to know. So then I'm also going to either cast another Liana's Shade, which would be a pretty decent idea, I think. Or Murder this Drake. I'm going to save my Murder for now and cast Liana's Shade to gain another swamp, because the more swamps the merrier, and he's going to counter this time. Yep, Mana Leak, as I thought, this is exactly what I was talking about. That's fine, my Murder is still in my hand, which is the card that I cared about more, because, you know, Liana's Shade is cool and all, but honestly, having this Murder is a big thing, because it's just additional safety, honestly. Added safety to my playstyle, and it makes my game more reliable. So, ooh, his stuff has Rebound. Rebound, it means that it will be very difficult to get rid of his instant and sorceries, let's put it this way, because he'll be able to just spam them like crazy. Anyway, do I want to murder this Drake, or do I just want to attack? I'm not too sure. I think I'm going to cast my ghouls first, though. I can cast one of those guys, so let's cast one of them. And then I'm probably going to cast Murder as well. Do I want to actually spend to cast my Murder to sit? I'm not too sure, because if Gameslayer casts his Legendary, then I will need to spend my Murder on that. That said, I do have my Incremental Blight, and this will kill Gameslayer's Legendary quite easily. So let's cast my Murder right away, like so, and start dealing some damage to Gameslayer, because I need to do this badly. This will bring me back up to 11 life, and Gameslayer down to 12 life, so we'll be more or less even. So far, this game is pretty close. Obviously, I'm a little bit scared with the amount of cards he's got in his hand continuously, because Crosswinds is fairly good at drawing additional cards to his hand, allowing him to, you know, be fluent with his gameplay for as long as possible, whereas I have a larger library left, but I'm running out of cards in my hand, which is a relatively big problem, because now whenever Gameslayer casts counters on something, I cannot really bait them out, and that's a relatively big problem. Anyway, Archaeomancer, that's fairly annoying as well, because this actually gives Gameslayer a Time Warp, which he's going to cast right away, so he gets another 10, a free card draw as a direct result, and it will actually allow him to maybe cast some kind of powerful spell. Oh, that's right, he's got a Rebound because of this annoying thing. Yeah, did he just gain 2 Time Warps? I think he did. Alright, that's going to be very annoying, because I actually have my vampire tapped, so he cannot defend. And guess is he going to win? I think he might. Annoyingly enough, there isn't anything I can do. So that's 6 damage. Well, this guy I'm obviously going to block. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Oh, wait a second. This guy can't block. Well, yeah, I'm dead, totally dead. In the next turn, I guess he attacks for 6 damage, and then he's got a 10 after that. Because, yeah, why not? Oh no, it wasn't double time loop. It's just the effect of the cast through time. That's what it is. And I guess he has a billion drakes because hey, why not? Alright, that's fairly annoying. I cannot say that. I cannot say anything else about that really, because I just lost the game in a fairly big way, a fairly annoying way as well, but whatever. It just happens. Gensei got exactly the right cards he needed, some of his signature cards, and now he will be up 3-2 in this kind of best of 7. He might win it, annoyingly enough, even though I was using the best decks I could think of. But Gensei was just a tiny bit more lucky because I don't think that this time around there were any mistakes I have made. So yeah, there's nothing I can do. I can block one of the drakes with my vampire and sacrifice the vampire as the result. And I can kill 2 drakes with my blight, and that's about it. I can sacrifice 2 life and draw 2 cards. Maybe it's... I actually have the card that destroys all the cards on the battlefield in my deck. So if I draw that, I might be saved. So let's do that. Cast it on myself and pray I get what I need to survive because it's... Oh, he's got a counter. F you, Gameslayer. Oh, wait. Maybe he just let it go through because he was like, whatever, no chance you're gonna get anything useful. So I got a Nightmare, very powerful creature. Shame it is not going to save me at all. So let's just cast it just to show how cool the Nightmare is. Guess he's going to counter it just to troll me and annoy me. Or he's reading in the description, or he's showing it to his viewers, or anything else. Yeah, there we go, the council, that was to be expected. Honestly though, nothing I could have done would have saved me, especially since he did have this council, right? So yeah, whatever attack, could care less, honestly, with everything I've got, and wait for Gensei to win in the next 10. Really annoyed. I mean, Gensei got the perfect combination of cards he could have hoped for. That's just how it goes. I was really unlucky in the last several matches. Every time I lose, it feels like Gensei was just getting a little bit better of a combination of cards, and there wasn't anything I could have done about that. So yeah, there we go, rebounding even more drakes. I mean, he got the absolute perfect combination he could have wanted. And yeah, another invocation. This is actually kind of hilarious, isn't it? It is hilarious, but it is still annoying, don't get me wrong. Anyway, come on, Gensei, kill me faster so we can proceed with the next game. You lucky bastard! He didn't deserve this win in my honest opinion, but whatever. I mean, he did deserve this. It wasn't like we were not inventing much. I said myself, we were inventing much. He just got a little bit more lucky. And this little bit of additional luck is what made him win the game. This was this one draw which made him win the game. It could have been me drawing an amazing card, but I didn't. Anyway, let's see you in the next match. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 6, and I have no more good decks in my hand. I only had Peacekeepers and Dream Puppets left. I thought I would go for Peacekeepers to surprise Gensei because he probably doesn't expect them, honestly. He knows that I do not like this deck, I believe it to be quite bad, but honestly, since the latest addition of those extra cards, I like it a whole lot more, and the deck hand I'm starting with is also quite decent, so I think I'm going to keep that. I didn't get what I usually use, unfortunately, so that's a problem. And Gameslayer went for how are they called? Pack Instinct, that's right. So this is going to be mildly annoying. He's going to have a lot of powerful and tough creatures, while I will have a lot of weak creatures, but even more of them than Gensei is going to have. The thing is, however, I could either go for Peacekeepers or the Dream Puppets, and Dream Puppets in this scenario would have done way worse against such a spammy deck like the one that Gensei is using. That said, there is a problem though, because the one deck that Gensei has got left... Actually, what is the one deck that Gensei has left? I don't even remember. Let's have a quick look at my thingy. He cannot use the Goblins, Exalted, or Celestial Light. So what is one official deck that he's got left to play? I honestly do not remember. Did he play Peacekeepers? Yes, he did. What did he play? Yeah, that's a good question. I have no idea. I'll have to think about it. Obedient Dead, that's the thing. Alright, so let's think about it. Attendant Knight, fairly nice. Intrepid Hero, it's incredibly powerful against the deck that Gensei is going to be using. So let's think. I think I'm going to start by casting I didn't Knight so that in the next turn I'll probably cast my Glorious Anthem and start dealing additional damage to Gameslayer via use of this Anthem. Now, Gameslayer does have creatures that destroy enhancements, alright? Or enchantments. And I have to be wary of that, but at the same time, not casting this card just because I'm afraid of the card that Gameslayer has would be pretty stupid. And also, Gameslayer is mana starved, and he had to discard a card, so that's sad. Just I feel sorry for him, although not too much, considering that this is the card that he decided to, you know. Wow, alright. Wow, okay. So he had to discard one card because he had too many cards in his hand. That's what he discarded. Very scary. Then again, I guess it was a smart choice because this card does cost a lot of mana, and since he is mana starved, he obviously had. It was probably a good choice to discard this thing. Alright, let's actually. Do I want to equip this, or do I want to cast more creatures so I can deal more and more damage? This will mean additional 2 damage in the next turn. Yeah, let's actually cast the Inquisitor right about now, I think, and then in the next turn I'll be able to cast this and also equip my ring. I think this is a pretty decent idea, although I could have casted this and equipped my ring. Yeah, I probably made a mistake right there. Yeah, that's what happens when you record and you want to win too badly, you make stupid mistakes. So what I should have done right there is casted this Glorious Anthem, because then I would be able to cast my ring in the same turn, attach my ring in the same turn and start gaining those tokens, and this would have added up to a decent amount. Now against I got Doomgrove Elder, of course, a very powerful card, just 3 mana for incredible power, hexproof, and it's as powerful as many forests Gensler has. Fortunately, he doesn't have too many forests, but it's still very annoying. Alright, this guy doesn't work on this Elder because he destroys a target creature, and this guy has Hexproof, so anything that has the word target in it is obviously, you know, bad. This thing, yeah, it also doesn't work because I have to target something to exile it, so that's a problem. So let's cast my Glorious Anthem, and then continue on by casting my Ring on Fun. Actually, I don't need to cast it right now. Then again, if I cast it, I'll have Vigilance. So I'm going to cast this on not on my Inquisitor, because then it will be a no-brainer for Gensler to just kill the Inquisitor. Then again, it only costs 1 mana to re-equip this thing, so I'll cast it over here. Make sure that my Inquisitor has Vigilance, and I'll catch Gensler to actually block this guy with what he's got. Hopefully he will be dumb enough to do just that, but most assuredly he will not be, because he's not. Actually, he did counter that, and he's willing to sacrifice a very powerful card just to make sure that I lose my Inquisitor. And keep in mind, I will gain a flyer as a direct result, which is rather hilarious. So now I just have to equip this ring to. I think my First Strike creature is the one that I want to buff the most, because First Strike is usually very powerful, and also having Vigilance on this guy would be fairly helpful as well. I mean, I was in 2 minds. Improving a flyer would also be a good idea, but you know. Alright, guess I got his Lava, very annoying card, difficult to deal with, but I can exile it, and I think I might actually do that, because those Lavas hit very, very hard. Alright, I got my Crusader of Odric as well. She is nice, isn't she? So I think I'm going to cast her. I'm not going to exile this card just yet, because guess I might have some even more powerful things to play. And yeah, I'm going to attack with my fly and my thingy and block the lava with my 2/2 soldier, although this would mean that Crusader would be weaker. I think I'll just let the damage from the lava pass through, because it will not be enough damage for me to care, honestly. So let's do that. Gensler cannot block. I mean, he can, but he would lose his lava for no apparent good reason, so that's that. You do what you do best. And also I think I'm going to re-equip my ring and attach it to my Crusader of Aldrich, because she is going to be my main damage output soon enough. Besides, my Attendant Knight, she already has 1 counter, so she's fairly powerful already. Gameslayer, he actually doesn't look like he's going to attack. He's really afraid that he's going to lose if he plays offensively. I cannot blame him, because I've got a lot of cards. If I play more soldiers, my Crusader will be even more powerful, and then I might be able to kill Gensler in the next turn. He still does attack though, and is going to deal 6 damage to me. I'm going to skip blocking, take the damage to the face, because I could care less, and as a direct result, Gensler has no blocker. And he didn't actually cast any blocker in this turn either, so that's rather surprising. Alright, let's cast another soldier to buff my Crusader of Odric, so that's 7 damage. So that's 8, 9, Actually, it looks like this is going to be the game, and just to make sure that it truly is the game, let's cast the Intrepid Hero as well. So now the Crusader is going to hit like an absolute truck. gameslayer made a grave error by attacking with his lava, no idea what was going through his head right there. And he's got an amazing instant that is going to save him right now. He made such a dumb mistake. He shouldn't have attacked with this lava. He should have just kept it to, you know, have it attached to his Crusade of Aldrich, and that's that, but he made a grave error, and now this is a 3-3, so one match to determine the victor of this best of 7. I'm really anxious to see who it is going to be, so stay tuned for the final. Alright, this is the last game, me playing with Dream Puppets against gameslayer and his Obedient Dead, because that's the only thing he's got left to play, as annoyingly enough. And my starting hand, not too good. I got Jace's Erasure, that's decent, and I got First Fruition, which is really nice, but I only have 2 mana. If I don't draw more mana, and knowing myself, I probably won't, then I'm in a really bad spot. So please, whoever is out there controlling Magic the Gathering, Duels of the Planewalkers, give me more mana and let me win this game. I want to play one more best of 7 of best of 7s. I mean, still, I made a valiant effort. I won 2 of those best of 7s so far. And this one will be on the 3rd one. And I really want to win this one, but I think... I mean, it's Obedient Dead I'm trying to fight with Dream Puppets. It's fairly difficult to win such a match, especially since so far I gained I drew 1 land. I mean, let's try and say this again. I drew 1 land and did not... Wow, I keep failing. I drew 1 card and did not draw a land, so that's a problem. And oh, look at this! gameslayer got a Jet Medallion, the lucky bastard! So now he will just start spamming those very powerful spells and whatnot, so that's annoying, but at least he's starting to lose his cards. What did he lose right now? Liana's Shade, that's very lucky of me, and I did get a land as well. I could cast Into the Royal for no reason whatsoever, or either Adept, which would just force me to cast him back into my own hand. So that's mostly, you know, useless to me right now. So I'm just going to continue and do nothing. Hopefully May against a paranoid that I have a counter and he'll just try to fish for those counters. Oh, nope, he instead plays a Blunt Hunter, but fairly annoying. I'll have to deal with that somehow, but I guess I'll just play... Actually, if I make sure that this card goes back into Gangster's hand, then I'll lose even more life, because this card has an effect whenever it enters the battlefield, which is mildly annoying, as you might imagine. Anyway, let's get the Holding Mine. Actually, making this card return to Gangster's hand would be the same as letting it attack me, and at least I would have a blocker if I were to get this guy over here. Actually, this card doesn't fly, even though it looks like it should. But let's cast it anyway, I think. Then again, I need more draws. Okay, I'll play this Howling Mine. I need more draws, otherwise I'm in a pretty big... I'm in a pretty bad spot. Besides Howling Mine plus Jace's Erasure, they should do a pretty decent job at making gameslayer lose quite a few cards relatively quickly. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I do not think this is going to go well for me. I mean, I've got 3 mana against this, 4 mana and an effective, let's say 2 mana at this point. I mean, if gameslayer plays Strip's card, then this is like 2 mana at this point in time. So that's a problem, a fairly big problem. He didn't cast any spells, so I assume he's got something to kill a creature. But at least he's continuously losing his cards, and most of those are the lands that he's using. So that's at least that. I can use Unsummon, so that's something. But I desperately need another mana, and I'm not getting it, which is a big problem. Let's cast my Aether Adept and see if Gameslayer does anything to get rid of that. I'm really curious about it. So let's do that. Put this creature into Gameslayer's hand, and this will not change anything, because this guy will have Summoning Sickness in the next turn, so he will not attack, but because of his effect, he'll deal 2 damage to me when he enters the battlefield. Anyway, Tendrils of Corruption, getting rid of my guy. Well, that's okay, because... Oh wow, first of all it gave Gameslayer a lot of life, but I don't care about life, I care about Gameslayer's library, so that's one thing. And the other thing is... I don't remember what I was trying to say. Anyway, ooh, that's annoying Grave Titan. He's very powerful, and I'm just dead. Gameslayer got a really good card right there. Very difficult to deal with, and I do not have a blocker that can possibly deal with that. I just don't. I've got more of this Erasure. Wow. Good thing I've got Into the Royal. I have to use both of these. I mean, I really need to use this Erasure more and whatnot, but I need to unsummon this guy. But if I unsummon, then he will just give Gameslayer even more zombies. That doesn't work this way. Oh, that's great. I cannot summon the zombies. Woohoo. Yeah, well, this is GG officially. I don't hold much hope for what is about to happen. There's an instant right there. This is another instant. I'll save my instants for the next turn. I guess I'm a little bit paranoid, but there's... Oh, I didn't turn off Steam this time around. But honestly, I'm fairly certain that by now I'm just officially dead. Alright, I have to get rid of one of the cards. I need a creature of some description, but I guess Body Double would be a better creature to have than Broker, so let's get rid of this guy. I'm so dead, and it's not even funny, not even, I would say fair, but I guess it's as fair as it gets. I'm just being salty because this best of 7 is going to be won by gameslayer, which I don't like. Honestly do not. He's the lucky bastard, and I don't like when people win because of luck, but then again, if I don't like it when people win because of luck, I shouldn't be playing Magic the Gathering, should I? Still, oh, seriously? Alright, okay, alright, okay. That's just amusing. Okay, gameslayer is just showing off at this point in time, so there is that, okay. Well, there is hardly anything I can do about this card. I mean, I can unsummon it and whatnot, but hold on a second, he actually creates more zombies? Yeah, whenever he attacks, he also creates more zombies. That's so annoying, alright. Well, in this case, if I knew that, I would have cast it into the Royal, but I didn't know that, so that's very annoying, because there's nothing I can do to actually deal with this guy. This guy, however, whenever he deals damage, he sacrifices all other permanents with gameslayer control, so let's do that. Let's cast this thingy on this guy, so I'm trying to limit the damage for as much as I possibly can. I'm basically destroying those tokens because they're just tokens, they cannot return to gameslayer hand. What was that? Why does this guy attack with a lightning bolt? Whatever, that's fairly random. And yeah, gameslayer is losing more cards from his library, and yeah, I've got actually some mana. Whoop-de-whoop-de-doo. That's a little bit late, isn't it, game, huh? So yeah, that's that. I can cast another Jace's Erasure. Yay! That's amazing, except that it's not going to let me win the game at all. Sometimes you lose and you know that you lost after a fair fight. This fight is not even remotely fair. That's why I really didn't like it when I drew Dream Puppets as one of the decks I was able to play. Because I knew that Dream Puppets are just not too good anymore. And in fact, I never had good luck with Dream Puppets anyway. That's just how lucky I was. Or rather, how lucky I was not. So I guess I wins this turn, unknowingly enough. Seriously, now that I think about this, I did have some bad luck, especially with the Celestial Light. That was the biggest BS I could think of. So, yeah. I mean, I'm still in this game, I could just concede, but I'm hoping gameslayer does some kind of really retarded mistake that makes me win the game, but there's nothing whatsoever that could actually allow me to win this game. Nothing at all. So this is it. gameslayer won our best of 7 and best of 7s. And the lucky bastard. Whatever. Well, good going, good riddance, you bastard. I hope you die and burn in the worst possible place you can imagine. Anything else? Any other way I can flame him with? Yeah, he's a cheater, and I'm trying to think of something creative, but I cannot think of anything annoyingly enough. Huh. Is he actually not going to attack with everything he's got? Well, he is, because he's still going to do 10 damage, and this is going to kill me anyway. Well, then, I guess this is up to me to make a summary. So, thank you people for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then you know what. Leave a comment, leave a like and whatnot. Flame gameslayer, actually you might flag his video for offensive content. No, I'm just kidding, don't do this. Please don't do this, because this would be this would be low. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And I guess you'll never see Magic the Gathering ever again, unless there's Magic the Gathering Duels for the